and maybe a little bit more. Let's do a bit more on what Elaine focused on last week, and do a bit of like ankle work and foot rotation and stuff like that, which is quite fun. So as always, good morning if you're just jumping in on our YouTube channel, on Facebook. Let's start off warming up, mobilizing the spine, getting the blood flowing, getting the energy flowing through the body. I always like to start off with knocking is a good one to start off with. So feet.
Well, you didn't change your camera.
I didn't
Your camera's
change.
not changed.
So I did it without changing the camera. I just walked away and forgot to. Oh God, I need a holiday. That was really good before. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, before we jumped on, I made sure that the camera changed on Zoom. There I just walked away from the camera and didn't switch it across. So now we are on.
You need to check your mic. Check your mic, right?
The mic should be on. That mic should be on.
It just sounds a little bit distant.
Should be on okay. Let me have a look. Let me have a look.
Because when you walked back, it just sounds a little bit distant.
That's weird because it should be on okay, because it doesn't look as if the battery's gone on that. Let me look on Zoom. I can move this mic just in case if on Zoom it's not picking up on that. It should be, because this is what I did double check before. Audio, loop back. That should be on. Let's see whether that works. That should be okay on there. We'll get there. Can you hear me as I am moving back?
Yeah, it's fine.
Good. Right, are we ready? Let's think of something to do. Feet shoulder width apart. Balanced through the heels, a little bit more weight through the heels, but still make sure you keep in contact with the ball of the foot. Remember the bubbling spring. Nice and tall through the spine. We're using this structure of the spine as, think of it as your central rotational axis, and then we can just start driving from the hips and the waist and rotating through the spine. Just take it nice and easy. The key is to relax the shoulders. So you're not doing any work with the arms or with the shoulders. Just letting the elbows bend, so you're tapping across the belly. Tapping across the back. And just breathing easy, softly, lightly, in and out through the nose. And just bringing your awareness again to your contact with the ground. So the heel and the bubbling spring, the ball of the foot. And just spreading the toes a little bit so that you're not gripping with the toes. And that initial drive is coming through that contact with the ground. So you're just very gently putting pressure through the ground, sort of like rooting yourself a little bit more through the ground. And that drives the movement up through the ankles, the knees, the hips. So you get that strength through the lower body. And that helps to then lighten and lift the upper body. be aware of the rotation through the ankles, the rotation through the knees. Have that softness in the knee so you can feel the rotation of the femur bone, the fibula bone in the knees. So we often think of the knee as a hinge, but we do need to have some ability to rotate through the knee as well. And that stiffness and tightness in the knee often comes about by the lack of practice of that subtle rotation through the knee. So this is good for oiling the joints. And also then coming up to the hips. And again, that rotation through the hips. So think of the hip socket and the top of that leg bone, the femur bone, as it rotates in that hip socket. Good. And then slowing the movement down. Slowing the movement down into water waves. And I always tend just to go that little bit lower in the knees here. And again, we're focusing on that spine rotation, but think of the strength here through the lower body. Again, just focusing on that rotation through the ankles, the knees, the hips, the connection of the feet to the ground. Another nice way to visualize is to use the ground as well. So to use that ground to drive you from one side to the other side. Good. And then slowing it down, slowing it down. And then just bringing the feet in and just taking a moment to stand. Appreciate everything that you've just done with that movement. And then back out. Again, use the ground, use the lower body, and we'll do a little bit of spinal cord breathing. Breathing in, opening up the chest, opening up the heart center, lifting the heart to the sky, and then tucking the tailbone in, bringing the chin to chest, opening up the throat, really opening up and softening the front of the body. Imagine that hopefully very soon it's going to be nice and warm and you can get the heat and the warmth of the sun if you're outdoors in the morning doing this type of movement. And we're breathing with the movement. Breath in as you expand. Breath out. Do a couple more. And then take a rest. Stand tall. Again, give yourself a moment to appreciate how that feels, what we've done with that movement. From a physical point of view, it's very good for opening up the rib cage. We talk a lot about over breathing, breathing too much air, but we can under breathe. So we want to make sure that we do have space to allow those lungs to inflate when we want to take that fuller breath, when we want to take that nice full breath in and we want to do that cleansing and clearing breath. We don't want everything to become tight here in the upper chest, and it's very easy to do so, particularly if we're working a lot at a desk like this all day long. And also, if we're not feeling brilliant, then we tend to protect ourselves, which we come into this sort of like position and can disconnect the front of our body. So it's quite nice to actually open up the front of the body, open up the heart center, which is a nice visualization to use as well. So taking yourself now back to that position of shoulder width apart, balanced again, grounding, rooting yourself through the feet to the ground. And let's just do a bit of dog wags the tail. So again, using the ground. So I'm pushing through the ground. Hips are keeping pretty parallel to the ground. And then I just free up the spine. And the first few clicks there were my ankles. Started to feel my ankles click, and it sort of comes up here today. It's coming up my right leg into the knee, and you can feel that. It's like a ringing sensation, which is quite nice. Not ringing as in bell ringing. It's almost like a little bit of a twisting sensation. Even though we're going side to side, you're almost like getting a twist round the muscles around the lower legs. And then just freeing up that spine, nice and gentle. So hip leads, spine follows, and then the head is following on the top of the spine. Just breathing easy. And slowing it down, slowing it down. Let's just do a couple of pulling down the heavens, something that we normally do at the end, but we'll do it now before we do a little bit more movement. And we'll add a bit of a sound to as we're pulling down the heavens. So we'll add a ah. So it's quite a nice sigh sound. So like a ah sound. So you're breathing in and ah. And again, breathing in and ah. And again. And ah. Taking a rest. And from pulling down the heavens, let's do some lifting up of the sky. So we take into a little squat first, scooping down, lifting up, reaching above the head. Here we have that extra little bit of a stretch. It's different from Buddha holds up the earth where we keep the elbows soft. You can even go to stretch out the arm lines there, and you can stretch out the arms as you come down the side there. So we're just stretching out the arm lines. Again, squat, go as deep as you're comfortable to go. Stretching up. Even though we're stretching out, we're not overstretching, we're not straining. squat if you want to go a little bit deeper. Again, this is a really nice morning stretch. I always visualize myself doing this out in the woods or on a beach. Somewhere nice. And for me, it works whether it's warm or cold. So I don't mind. This is lovely doing on the Costa Brava. It's also lovely doing in the rain and the mist. In a forest, something like that. This is some of the things that we'll be doing next week in Scotland. Lifting up the sky. Do 2 more in your own time. And then take a rest. Got a nice crunch through my elbow then, in a good way. It's like you can feel all the ligaments and the fascia twisting. I love that, sort of like that ringing feeling. I think it's really nice. So just take a moment, standing tall. And then let's do a little bit of balance and some ankle rotation. So I will mirror you. Shift the weight onto your left leg, balance, and then just bring your right leg in front. And let's just do a little bit of flexion. So you point your toes towards your shin. Keep tall through the spine. Make sure you're not leaning back. So really keep on this standing hip. Really keep strong on that standing leg as he falls over. Standing tall through that standing leg. Haven't done any balance for the past week. This will be fun. And then just circle slowly your ankle. So deliberately circling the ankle. This is another really nice one to feel, almost like that twisting and squeezing and wringing of the muscles and the fascia in the lower leg. Do it slowly. Do as big a range of motion as you can. Spreading the toes. If you need to balance on something, hold on something to help balance, that's absolutely fine, because although it's a balance exercise, we want to focus on this ankle rotation. Or remember, you can use your two lions or 2 tigers just to help balance. Take a moment before we change direction. So just give yourself a little bit of a rest. And then balance again. And then go other direction. Nice and slow. I was reading the front page of the Men's Health, I think it was a Men's Health magazine, and it said training your feet can help performance. And it said training your feet, and then in brackets it said yes, really can help performance. And it's like as if nobody's ever thought about this before. It's like, oh yeah, if we have nice, strong, flexible, healthy feet that work properly, that's actually going to have a massive difference in how you move. Never thought of that one before. So that gave me a wry smile. And then take a rest there. Shake out a little bit. You might feel a little bit of burning, good sensation in this left hip that you're balancing on there. Excuse me. Let's change sides. So stabilize now on your right side. Nice and tall. Don't just think about the right leg. Be really aware of where your upper body position is on that. Not to be leaning back or leaning forwards. Nice and tall through that right standing side, and then flex the foot and circle. Big circles slowly. Really take your time. Just as we create all the smooth movement with the qigong, keep that smoothness with the circle of the foot. Any joddery bits are going to be the bits, or the sticky bits are the bits you need to work through slowly. And you may find one side feels not as easy as the other, not as fluid as the other. And then take a break before we swap sides. Just stand tall. And then back, or swap direction, I mean, and then change direction. Nice and slow. Bigger range of motion as possible. Yeah, I could certainly do with a little bit more of practice of this one. Good, and then take a break. And then let's have a good shake of your ankles. So we'll go back to the opposite side and then just free up and shake out that whole leg from the hip. Get some nice vibration going through that leg. Just really free up the hip, the knee, the lower leg and the ankle, and just get some shaking going through there. It's a bit like if you shake your wrist. See if you can get that ankle nice and free. And then again the other side, swap sides. Really just shake through the leg. And then take a rest. And just stand for a moment. And we're going to do now, how are we doing time-wise? We'll just do a few tigers before we do a few more pulling down the heavens into finish. So tiger, remember, really use the tiger claws here. So really engage the fingers, get that nice and get some good tension through the fingers, through the upper arms, and that helps to create strength in the back. So nice, strong backbone, nice, strong spine. Go low as you can, and then you can relax as you come back up. And let's go a little bit higher as we come back up and start up here. And then tension, in a good sense, tension through the fingers, coming down, and then coming back up. This has gone really quick, but I suppose I spent 10 minutes at the beginning trying to sort the camera out and trying to sort the microphone out. I thought it was about 8:15 here. It's nearly 8:30. Let's do a couple more. Just breathing easy, nice, slow, smooth movement. If you struggle at any point, then we need to just make the movement smaller. So we really don't want to get down here and then start struggling. Oh, I can't get up, forcing yourself up. You need to be able to just come up with ease and grace, breathing easy. And then let's finish off out, down by the sides, bringing the arms down by the sides, crossing the belly, resting on your belly, and just a moment of bamboo in the wind, bringing the feet together. Just closing your eyes and let your body rock and sway. And then taking a slightly fuller breath in, opening your eyes at the top of that breath, stepping out, giving yourself a gentle brush down. Brilliant. So a few little things there just to focus on. Play around with the tiger. It's always good to remember to do that. It's always good to remember to just do these gentle ankle exercises. You come back to it and you go, yeah, I really feel I need that little bit more mobility there. So any of these little things, always, anytime during the day, stop, balance on one leg, little ankle rotation. All of this is really good. But creating those healthy habits, really, really important. Excellent. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you joining me. Hope it didn't sound too croaky. Hopefully this will clear a little bit more next week. See you next Tuesday for the breath work. Next Thursday, I'm in Scotland, but I should be able to do the class in the morning. So it should be okay, but I will keep you updated with that. Have a great day. Have a good rest of the weekend as well. And I will catch up with you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye. Thanks very much.